What is going on, guys? It is Trifecta J here, and today I will be recapping Season 2 of my Chargers franchise as we will be moving into the offseason in next episode. So this was an alright year. We ended up going 8-8, but a ton of close games. Week 2 is a 4-point loss to the Raiders, then an incredible comeback against the Broncos. The Colts is where Trevon Lewis absolutely went off. The Raiders was another close loss, and then we got beat pretty badly by the Buccaneers. We ended up coming back to some extent, blew a lead against the Titans, and also against the Falcons, and then got beat down bad against the Carolina Panthers in Week 17, which eliminated us from playoff contention. So the Chiefs will be representing the AFC West. They only went 9-7, so a weak division this year, as we definitely probably could have made a nice run in the playoffs if we made it. But nonetheless, a look at the season stats. Phillip Rivers ended up throwing for more than 4,000 yards. Did miss those two games where Keyshawn Lindley stepped in, and Lindley is probably, after what he showed in those games, the quarterback of the future. Melvin Gordon with an outstanding season, 1,400 yards. Brandon Oliver played a little bit more in the second half or later part of the year. Danny Woodhead didn't get very many carries. Now Trevon Lewis had one of the best rookie years that I've ever seen from a wide receiver. 1,400 yards, 68 catches, 21 yards per catch, and 12 touchdowns. He really started the year as a big play guy, but as the year went on, became more of a reliable target and as a possession receiver. Keenan Allen and Ladarius Green also had very good years, both near or beyond 1,000 yards receiving and near or at 65 catches. Donald Penn allowed the most sacks, which was not good to see, as he was a pass blocker that I thought would be a very solid player, but these sack numbers are very fluky and not sure how accurate they truly are. And look at our defensive stats. Eric Weddle, the over 30-year-old player, has 155 tackles. Ahmad Dixon, the signing in last year's free agency, who I didn't have very high hopes for, had over 130 tackles. Denzel Perryman had an outstanding year, over 130 tackles, and led the team in tackles for losses. Some of the guys lower on our roster, you can see Denzel Perryman, 21 tackles for loss. Just an outstanding year that led or was near the top of the NFL. We were also near the bottom of the NFL in terms of sack, but Jeremiah Tucho and Melvin Ingram both had pretty good years, as we had 5 interceptions from Ivory Austin. Ahmad Dixon had his one, I believe, late in the season. It was either against the Panthers or Week 16 against the Falcons. Look at kick return and punt return stats. 1,700 yards and 1 touchdown for Trevon Lewis. An outstanding year overall in kick return, punt return, and receiving. Also, I think you had a few rushing attempts. I could be wrong there, though. 33 punt returns for 724 yards, along with 2 punt return touchdowns. And look at the season stats in the NFL. Blake Bortles over 5,000 yards passing. A great year for him. Blaine Gabbert was second in the NFL in passing yards and led in passing touchdowns. A great year for him. Really bounced back and may have found his place in Dallas, replacing Tony Romo. Geno Smith was sacked 69 times, so a tough year for him. But like I was saying earlier, I feel like overall this was a good year. We competed in mostly every single game. We ended up going 500 on the year, which is an improvement from last year. It definitely is. And I feel like we have some nice young pieces and will continue to improve. But I would like to have seen us make the playoffs this year. But I guess it does end up as a... I think I said it earlier, but I don't think we would have made too huge of a run in the playoffs. So a better draft pick gets us a better player. And so I feel like that would probably be better than a first-round exit in the playoffs. And so there are some holes in this team that we definitely have to improve. There is... Well, real quick, Will Lucas was a guy that I was really heavily targeting in last year's draft, and he ends up with 161 tackles for the Vikings. That's good to see for him. I just wish we could have gotten him. But back to the fact of our team. So, Phillip Rivers, there has been some rumors and like the stories of this game that he is considering retirement, which would mean Keyshawn Lindley would be our new, starting quarterback moving forward and the franchise quarterback. So, that would definitely be something to definitely keep an eye on in the offseason. Then you have the, number 3, number 2, whatever role you want to say, wide receiver, as Trevon Lewis could still stay in the slot, could move outside, as Stevie Johnson is definitely getting up there in age, and we have got to find a replacement for him. Johnson could play one more year, but I'd prefer to see a new player there, a little more explosive player, or a guy who's just a little better than Stevie Johnson at this point in his career. Then you have along the offensive line, I don't plan on bringing back Donald Penn, so there's an offensive line spot open. And whether it's a guard, center, or tackle, we have some versatility along our offensive line to bring in a variety of different positions to fill that 5th spot, because I feel like right now we have Denard Reeves, we have Marshawn Austin, we have King Dunlap, and we have DJ Fluker as 4 sort of set, I guess, offensive linemen. Not so sure about all of them as future starters, but those are like 4 guys that really come to my mind as future guys along there. Along the defensive line, Mike DeVito will probably not be brought back, so you have Marquand Reddick moving into that spot. Brandon Meebane, I also don't see being brought back, so we'll have to bring in a guy there. At middle linebacker, maybe finding an upgrade over Manti Te'o. Eric Weddle probably will not be back as he's getting up there in age and also having his ratings continue to decrease, so that will be a spot. Ahmad Dixon played well, but definitely struggled in coverage this year, so that's a spot that we'll have to look at upgrading over. Cornerback, I feel good about with Ivory Austin and Tage Wilson, but we'll definitely have to see how those 2 rookies, or were rookies this year, continue to progress, as Jason Verrett, of course, is a very valuable player and will continue to play a whole lot. But that's really the main thing. Melvin Ingram might move to the 4-3 end, as we're definitely going to continue with the hybrid scheme. We started that around, I believe, week 5 or 6. And we'll definitely continue using that and getting maybe a little more creative with that. Also, Will Lucas does win Defensive Rookie of the Year and in the NFC. I think I said this in week 17. I know I definitely did. But Trevon Lewis won Offensive Rookie of the Year in the AFC. But my plan for defense next year, it's definitely somewhere where we have got to improve as we look at free agents for this year, is we're going to continue to be very versatile, throw a lot of different looks at the defense and continue with our hybrid scheme. Some of the important free agents, Ahmad Dixon, who played very well this year, like I said. Brandon Boykin will be a free agent. Deion Jordan, definitely a guy I plan on bringing back. He's still young and has some room to grow. Cecil Shorts, who didn't play a whole ton. Manti Te'o, a big free agent. Brandon Oliver, another one. And like I said, Eric Weddle, Brandon Meebane, Mike DeVito, along with Denard Reeves, is a huge free agent that I really want to get back, along with Donald Penn. A few older guys, and then Denard Reeves is 21 years old, so he could be a future building block. We'll now look at some of the more draft prospects. I've scouted a few more, and this will look at the whole list for the most part. Hunter Warren, a very talented right tackle who looks to be an early first-round prospect. Not sure exactly if I'll be interested in taking him, as we are picking 15 overall, so I'm not sure if he would actually even be there. Enrique Jackson, a 6'3", 318-pound defensive tackle from Texas A&M, looks to be a very solid prospect. Gordon Duncan was a tight end back there. Lavon Clay, he looks to be very good, B+ in all of the coverage ratings. Depending on what sort of athlete he is, I really like him. Madison Roberts, another guy that I'm a huge fan of as a guard. He could be a late first-round prospect or early second-round prospect and could fit in with a trade down. Antoine Hightower, another good prospect. Justin Ward, another tight end. Justin Thornton, a guy that I really like, 21 strong safety out of Auburn. Joey Trammell, a run-stopping 3-4 end. Cody Green, really good impact blocking, a 6'6" tackle out of Mississippi Valley State. He could definitely be a middle-round guy that we target. Trevani Stallworth, really good power moves, but that's about it. Depending on what sort of athlete he is, that really depends on whether or not we will target him. B+ impact blocking for Patrick Vereen. He could be a nice player in that middle rounds. Also, Corey Hardy, 5'9", 226 out of UNLV, power back. He looks to be a guy that I'm really high on, and I really want to see what his athletic combine numbers are, as he could be a very solid player for us. And that will wrap up Season 2 of my Chargers franchise. I hope you did enjoy this year. It was very fun to record and do all of the videos for. I had a ton of fun doing it. If you did enjoy, please leave a like down below. Leave your comments on who you think we should target in free agency, or at least what positions. I'm not sure if you know what players will be available and what players we should be looking for in the draft after you saw that big board, and just what positions we should be targeting. Like I said, though, I hope you did enjoy Season 2. It was one of my favorite seasons that I've done on my channel so far. If you did, please leave a like down below. I will see you for the offseason of Season 2, which will be the very next episode, because I'm out.